Amazon takes to address restricted products policy violations. B. Addressing restricted products policy violations. C. Best practices to remain compliant. Note that this module was developed specifically for sellers operating in the U.S. and provides an overview of U.S. policies. Policies in other countries would vary. Refer to the restricted product help pages that can be accessed through your local Seller Central account. Restricted products policies are put in place to protect Amazon's customers from products that are illegal, illegally marketed, unsafe, and offensive or prohibited by Amazon's policies. These policies also give customers confidence that all products available for purchase on Amazon are compliant with local laws and regulations. Further, within the U.S. itself, there could be state-specific guidelines. For example, some products are subject to additional regulation in the state of California. Make sure to check that your listings comply with all policies for each country where you sell. Let us first understand what action Amazon takes against restricted product policy violations. Amazon constantly works with regulators, third-party experts, and selling partners to improve and innovate on behalf of customers and ensure that any listings that violate applicable laws or regulations or Amazon's restricted products policies are dealt with seriously. If any listing is in violation with Amazon's policies, we will take corrective action as appropriate, which may include immediately removing the listings from your catalog, suspending or terminating your selling privileges, destroying inventory in our fulfillment centers without reimbursement, returning inventory, terminating the business relationship, and permanent withholding of payments. Further, the sale of any illegal or unsafe products could result in legal action. Please ensure that all of your listings are compliant with these policies and local laws and regulations. Please also note that Amazon updates its restricted products policies and help pages to reflect continuously changing laws and regulations. We attempt to notify our selling partners in advance of these changes via email, and when applicable via the Seller Central News widget, newsletter, and forums. When possible, we proactively notify selling partners with clear expectations of the time period to sell through their inventory before removing the detail pages. In some cases, Amazon needs to take immediate action, and our help pages are updated with revised policies. Hence, it is always a good practice to frequently review the policy pages relevant to your products to ensure that you are in compliance. If you find, discover, or see listings that are in violation with our policies or applicable laws, you can contact us. Please visit the Restricted Products FAQ help page to find more information and relevant links on how you can report a violation. Based on the type of violation, you may need to provide information to facilitate an investigation. This may include the store or business name of the seller you are reporting, the ASIN, relevant countries where the violation is taking place, an explanation detailing the violation, and any other supporting documentation. You will also be required to provide your email and contact number. Next, let us discuss how to respond to a restricted products policy violation notice. If you receive a notification that your ASIN or product was removed due to a restricted products violation, please read the full performance notification and check the policy help pages to understand why your ASIN or product might have been removed. Depending on the nature of the notice, you can take several actions to review, resolve, and reduce the risk of account deactivation in the future. The Performance Notifications page under the Performance tab shows many of the account deactivation and listing level violation enforcements and messaging. Selling partners could also receive notifications via other channels, such as email. If you believe that your product or ASIN was removed in error, you may appeal using the Account Health dashboard, accessible under the Performance tab by clicking on Account Health. Removed ASINs can be reviewed and appealed under Restricted Product Policy Violations. Before you contact seller support, please ensure that you have followed all the instructions in your Restricted Products Performance Notification and have provided all of the documentation and/or evidence requested. Make sure to respond to individual ASIN level violations in a timely manner to help prevent account deactivation. If your account has been deactivated because of multiple notices of restricted product violations, you will likely be required to submit a Viable Plan of Action, or POA. To learn more on how to create an effective POA and addressing account-level deactivation, refer to additional content on Seller University or to the appropriate help pages on your Seller Central account. Now, let us cover some best practices for sellers to remain compliant with local laws and Amazon policies. Keep product pages about the product and ensure that the detail pages are accurate. Carefully review our restricted products policy pages, including the examples of prohibited listings and your product catalog on a regular basis to ensure that your products are compliant. Do not forget about products included in inventory feeds or those that are uploaded using an automated system. Check the news widget and seller forums periodically for any notified changes. Also, make sure to check your messages under Performance Notifications for any specific policy-related changes. A product may still not be permitted even if it is not expressly listed in our examples of prohibited listings. Assign someone to carefully review each product you are listing to ensure it is compliant. When buying inventory from another source apart from the manufacturer, make sure to understand the sourcing and origin of the product and take care to understand the legal framework in which the products may be sold. If selling supplements or eligible drugs, confirm that the ingredients are compliant not just with our policies, but also with FDA regulations and guidelines. The FDA Orange Book on prescription and OTC drugs and the FDA Green Book on animal drugs are helpful sources. Make sure to check the list of recalls, market withdrawals, and safety alerts on the FDA website. Sellers participating in the Fulfillment by Amazon or FBA program should comply with additional FBA-specific product restrictions in addition to Amazon's restricted products policies. These include hazardous materials and substances regulated by the Narcotics Act. For instance, the sale of vehicle tires and alcoholic beverages are prohibited for sale by FBA. This wraps up our video on addressing restricted products policy violations. Thank you, and happy selling on Amazon! Welcome to the Training on Product Authenticity and Quality Policies overview. In this training, we will look at how to make sure your products comply with our product authenticity and quality policy. We will also see what happens if a seller does not comply with the policy. It's important to note that the information contained in this training does not constitute legal advice, and you should consult a lawyer if you have any specific questions regarding product quality. When you sell your products on our store, you must comply with all applicable laws and Amazon policies. Let's look at what we mean by product authenticity and quality. Product quality relates to the features and characteristics of a product and how they satisfy the stated or implied needs of the customer. You can find the Amazon policy on product authenticity and quality by going to Seller Central's homepage. Type Product Authenticity and Quality Policy in the search field located in the top right corner of the page. Customers trust that the products they buy on our store will be received exactly as described in the detail page. Your compliance with our product quality and authenticity policies ensures that we continue to maintain our customers' trust. This includes making sure that all products that are listed and shipped match the information on the product's detail page, including the product description and product image. Products delivered to customers must be in the condition as described on the detail page and not have any damage or defects. Products with an expiration must be labeled with an expiration date as required by applicable laws. Products must not violate intellectual property rights such as copyrights, patents, trademarks, and rights of publicity. Here are some helpful product authenticity and quality tips. Tip 1. Sourcing products. Source your products from a reliable supplier. Before you list your product, make sure that the products are authentic, work as expected, and are free from any damage. Verify that your listed products are safe and ensure all applicable safety, testing, and compliance requirements are met. And finally, Keep all records of transactions, such as purchase orders and invoices. Tip 2. Listing products. When listing a generic product that's compatible with a branded product, the description in the detail page must specify that the product is generic. Clearly state in the detail page whether your product is new, used, or refurbished. Provide detailed and accurate information about your product. Tip 3. Storing and shipping your product. Store your products in a way to preserve the products and their packaging. Do not ship expired items to customers. Do not ship items with a remaining shelf life that does not allow sufficient time for the product to be consumed by customers. Make sure the products will work in the country you're listing them in. Failure to comply with our product authenticity and quality policy may result in us taking one or more of the following actions on your seller account: cancellation of your listings that violate the policy, suspension of your selling account, withholding of funds, removal or disposal of FBA inventory of the product that violated the policy at your expense, or account deactivation. To make sure you understand the policies that are applicable in each region in which you list, visit the Selling Policies and Seller Code of Conduct page for each store. Here are a few examples where the Amazon quality policies may be violated. Shipping a product where the color, pattern, texture, or size of the product doesn't exactly match the detail page description of the product. Shipping the wrong quantity of product to the customer. Shipping a product that is used, damaged, defective, or has missing parts. Shipping bootlegs, fakes, or pirated copies of products or content. Shipping illegally replicated, reproduced, or manufactured products. Shipping products that are subject to expiration without a label, or where the buyer receives the product without enough time to use it before the expiration date. Here are a few scenarios where a seller lists a product that does not comply with our product authenticity and quality policy. Any company sells and ships sunscreen which has an expiration date. When Mateo receives the sunscreen, he sees the expiration date has passed and he is not able to use the product. Any company is not in compliance with the Amazon's product authenticity and quality policy. Any company sells and ships a coffee table to Lee that was described as being 14 inches in height on the product detail page, but is actually 20 inches in height. Any company is not in compliance with the Amazon's product authenticity and quality policy. Any company sells and ships a blue shirt in an extra large size to Sanvi. Sanvi receives the product, she notices that it's not the size or color that she ordered. Instead, she receives a green shirt in a medium size. Any company is not in compliance with the Amazon's product authenticity and quality policy. As a reminder, further information can be found in the Amazon Product Quality and Authenticity Policy Help page. Welcome to the video on addressing Amazon's intellectual property policy violations. This module covers A. Actions to be taken to address intellectual property violations. B. Best practices to remain compliant. Note that when you sell on Amazon, you must 1. Comply with all federal, state, and local laws and Amazon policies applicable to your offerings. 2. Not violate IP rights of brands and other rights owners. It is also important to note that Amazon's policy guidelines and the content in this video do not constitute legal advice. You should consult a lawyer if you have a specific question about your IP rights or the IP rights of others. Keep in mind that this module was developed specifically for sellers operating in the U.S. and provides an overview of U.S. policies. Policies in other countries would vary. Refer to the intellectual property help pages for country-specific policies. Let us first cover how to respond to an IP violation notice. Amazon takes any claims of infringement seriously, even for sellers that are infringing upon IP without their knowledge. You should consult a lawyer to ensure that you have appropriate checks and procedures in place to prevent IP infringement for all the products you sell. If you receive a notice of infringement, depending on the nature of the notice, you can take several actions to review, resolve, and reduce your risk of account deactivation. The Account Health tab shows the account deactivation and listing level violation messaging. From your Account Health dashboard, you will be able to submit an appeal, review pending appeals, and Amazon's replies to your appeals. Typically, infringement notices target a product offer or an ASIN for removal. If the infringement occurred only on the product detail page, you may appeal after you rectify the details on the product detail page and ensure that infringement does not happen anymore. If you believe that either the rights owner or Amazon made an error, you may dispute the claim and provide supporting documentation. The supporting documentation required depends on the nature of the notice and could include an invoice, an order ID, a letter of authorization, a licensing agreement, etc. Refer to specific instructions provided in the relevant notifications on your account health dashboard on Seller Central. For more information, refer to the policy pages in the Help section of your Seller Central account. Make sure to respond to individual policy level violations in a timely manner to help prevent account deactivation. If your account has been deactivated because of multiple notices of IP infringement, you will likely be required to submit a viable plan of action or POA. To learn more on how to create an effective POA and addressing listing or account level deactivation, refer to additional content on Seller University or to the appropriate help pages on your Seller Central account. Next, let us discuss the best practices to remain compliant with IP policies. It is important to note that this is not legal advice and does not provide a guarantee against violations. You should consult a lawyer if you have a specific question about your IP rights or the IP rights of others. 1. Always review existing intellectual property before creating or listing a new product. 2. Compare your products to existing trademarks and patents on the local governing body's website to ensure you are in compliance. 3. Ensure your supplier has valid rights or authorization. 4. Regularly review your account health dashboard to be aware of any risks to your account. 5. Use your own photographs and designs for your product listings or photographs or designs for which you have received permission to use from the creator. 6. If you want to indicate the compatibility of your product with a product of a different brand, in the product title use the following title format for branded compatible products: your product's brand name plus product name plus for compatible with fits intended for plus brand of main product plus main product name plus other product title elements if applicable. For example, brand name power cord compatible with Amazon Alexa. 7. Maintain relevant records and documentations for your products, including invoices, letters of authorization, licensing agreements, and any other supply chain documents. 8. If you are not sure whether your product may be infringing, consult an attorney for help to ensure you have the right procedures in place to prevent IP infringement. 9. Appeal or dispute any listing level notices of infringement whenever possible to avoid further action on your account. This wraps up our video on addressing Amazon's intellectual property policy violations. Thank you and happy selling on Amazon! Welcome to the video on understanding Amazon's restricted products policies. Before we begin, note that this module was developed specifically for sellers operating in the U.S. and provides an overview of U.S. policies. Policies in other countries would vary. Refer to the restricted product help pages that can be accessed through your country's Seller Central account. Restricted products policies are put in place to protect Amazon's customers from products that are illegal, illegally marketed, unsafe, and offensive or prohibited by Amazon's policies. These policies also give customers confidence that all products available for purchase on Amazon are compliant with local laws and regulations. Further, within the U.S. itself, there could be state-specific guidelines. For example, some products are subject to additional regulation in the state of California. Make sure to check that your listings comply with all policies for each country where you sell. Let us first understand what are Amazon's restricted product policies. Restricted products include products whose sale on Amazon is prohibited or restricted in some way due to applicable laws or regulations. These products could include those that are prohibited for sale by Amazon or selling partners, restricted in certain geographies, and products that may not be cross-listed across countries or regions due to regional regulations and restrictions. For example, parts or products from federally endangered or threatened species are prohibited for sale by law. Similarly, products that are recalled by the manufacturer or any government or regulatory agency are prohibited for sale on Amazon. Amazon has help pages on a range of restricted products. Refer to the main Restricted Products help page for links that go into each restricted product category. You can check the category applicable to your listings to understand the policy guidelines and what is restricted and permitted within each listing. There is more information, resources, and links to applicable federal regulations on these individual help pages, so make sure to visit the ones relevant to your products. In the next few minutes, we will dive deep into two key restricted products areas on pesticides and pesticide devices and offensive and controversial materials to highlight important restrictions sellers should be aware of, particularly when creating new listings. Example 1. Pesticides and pesticide devices. In the U.S., pesticides and pesticide devices must comply with the Environmental Protection Agency's Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act, or FIFRA, and applicable state and local laws, including registration and labeling requirements. You may not be aware if you are selling products the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, considers as pesticides or pesticide devices, as it can be hard to identify which products qualify and why. The EPA classifies most products as pesticides or pesticide devices that are marketed to disinfect, repel insects, remove allergens, or prevent bacteria, or that make any other antiviral, antimicrobial, antifungal, antibacterial, or other pesticide-related claim. These claims are sometimes used in marketing a wide variety of products, including clothing, home goods, air and water filters, and lawn and garden products. EPA guidance on what is considered a pesticide or pesticide devices can be found on the EPA website shown here. Amazon's permitted listings include pesticides and pesticide devices that comply with FIFRA and all applicable state and local laws, including registration and labeling requirements. The sale of products of unregistered pesticides, example insecticide chalk, or pesticide products not intended for sale in the U.S., since they do not have an EPA registration number, are prohibited from a sale on Amazon. Further, pesticide products that make public health claims are also prohibited. For example, Amazon prohibits the sale of any product that is marketed to control or mitigate any disease, infection, or pathological condition. For more examples on prohibited listings, refer to the help page on pesticides and pesticide devices in your Seller Central portal. If a selling partner wishes to sell pesticides and pesticide devices on Amazon, you must first apply for approval to sell these products. Follow these steps listed on the help page to request for approval to sell a pesticide product on Amazon and by taking the Pesticide Seller e-learning course. Note that if you are not a U.S. resident, you are not permitted to sell pesticide products or pesticide devices on Amazon.com. Example 2. Offensive and controversial materials. Amazon aims to ensure a welcoming environment for global customers and sellers, hence values and promotes trust and respect. Amazon does not allow the sale of any products that promote, incite, or glorify hatred or intolerance. For example, the Confederate flag, including product images. These policies apply to all products except books, music, video, and DVD, which all have their own policies. Amazon also prohibits the sale of any products that depict child abuse or exploitation. For more details, refer to the help page on offensive and controversial materials in your Seller Central account. You can refer to the restricted products FAQs on the help pages of your Seller Central portal for additional information. This wraps up your video on Welcome to our Compliance Reference Tool training. Thanks for having me.
Today, we'll introduce a tool to help you learn about compliance requirements and get the correct documentation when selling in the Amazon store. You're a new seller, right?
Right. I just made my account a month ago.
How's the selling going?
Well, I haven't started selling quite yet.
Oh well, tell me about your situation and let's see how I can help.
Okay. So I want to start selling in the Amazon store, but I'm not sure about one thing. What's compliance? Is that just following Amazon's policies?
Compliance isn't just about following Amazon's policies. It's about following the laws, regulations, and standards. If you're selling something like toys, there are different safety standards that your toys have to meet first.
Ugh, why are there so many rules? Do I have to do this?
You need to take safety seriously. If a product doesn't comply with safety standards, someone's health could be at risk.
That's a good point.
That's why, if your products don't have the right compliance documentation, your listings could get taken down, which might affect your account health. If you ship internationally, non-compliance items might get stopped in customs. And if you have inventory at Amazon fulfillment centers, it might be destroyed if it turns out you're not compliant.
We don't want that.
Nobody does.
So, how do I know what documentation I need? Do I just figure it all out myself?
You should always do your own research, but Amazon has a tool that can help you. The Compliance Reference Tool. You can access it from the page for adding products. You know where to find that page, right?
Yeah, there are two ways to do it from the main menu. One is by selecting Add Products under Catalog, and the other is Add a Product in Inventory.
That's right. And now that you're on the page for adding products, scroll down to find Compliance Reference. Learn compliance requirements and service providers for your products.
What's this?
Select Compliance Self-Assessment and find out.
It's a disclaimer.
That's right. Remember that it's your responsibility to have complete and accurate compliance information. The tool I'm about to show you is informational, but it's your job to make sure that you do everything correctly.
Makes sense. I'll select Confirm. Whoa, look at this.
This is the Compliance Reference Tool. It's a treasure trove of information. Just select the region you ship from and the store where you want to sell, and then enter your product type. Select a category from the drop-down menu and type a keyword, or search from the list. If you have an HS code, you can use that too.
What's an HS code?
It stands for Harmonized System Code. It's an international standard 6-digit tariff code for product categories. If you don't know what it is, don't worry about it. Here, it's just another way to find the product category you're using. Once you find a category, you'll see a product type description.
Okay, so let's say I'm looking at toys. So I start on the left and keep selecting as I move, right? Until I find the product type I'm looking for? Wow!
There's a list of the documentation information. Make sure you check the different information tabs too. For toys, there's one set for product compliance and another for dangerous goods compliance.
What if my product isn't listed here? Does that mean I don't need compliance documentation for it?
Not always. It's also possible that your product is in a different category than you thought. If you can't find your product, try looking at a similar product and see what compliance documents are there. Some of those may apply to your product. And even if you can't find a similar product, that doesn't mean you don't need compliance documentation. It may just mean that your product isn't in the database yet. Product compliance regulations may change, and while the Compliance Reference Tool is updated frequently, it is your responsibility to make sure that you don't need anything extra that's not included in this list.
Got it. So I'll start with the documents listed here, but I don't know how to get all these certifications. Who can help me?
Scroll down.
Wait, is this?
It's a list of providers who may be able to help you get the documentation you need. Each provider's entry includes their name and the services they provide. It also shows you the country and city where you can find them.
It even shows their contact information. This is incredible. They're all in the same country, though.
Do you see the drop-down list at the upper right that says Country? You can select the country to see service providers in that region.
So this tells me who can provide the services I need and where I can find them?
It does more than that. Select the providers you're interested in by using the checkboxes. You can even select ones from several different countries. Your selections are attained when you change lists.
Okay, now what?
Scroll up to where it says Service Provider Pool on the right.
It says I've selected 3.
Right. Now select Create Report.
Oh, wow. It's a printable report.
This report lists the types of compliance documentation you need for your product type, as well as the service providers you selected. There's also a list of trade export compliance requirements for each SS code within that product type.
This is amazing. This tool does everything for me.
Not everything. You're still responsible for making sure the service providers are right for you and that their services are up to date. Remember that you may need to get help from service providers that aren't on this list, or even prepare some documents yourself.
Good point. But still, this lets me know where to start and saves me a lot of work.
That's true.
Thank you for showing me this. I was nervous about selling because compliance is so important. It'd be terrible if someone didn't get their order because I wasn't thorough enough with compliance. But now I can go right from the page for adding products and get a whole report about compliance for each product type I want to sell. And I can print it out or save it as a PDF so I can share with others who work with me.
That's right. And that concludes our training on the Compliance Reference Tool.
Thank you. Happy selling in the Amazon store. Welcome to our training Apply to Sell a Product, Category, or Brand. There are a few steps you should take before listing a product in the Amazon store. First, confirm that it's okay to sell. Make sure it's safe and complies with all laws and regulations. You should also review Amazon's restricted product and product compliance policies to verify that it isn't prohibited by Amazon and meets all product-specific requirements. Next, determine if the product requires any approvals. Although products can be listed in the Amazon store without approval, we require approval to list certain products, categories, and brands enrolled in Amazon Brand Registry. You can obtain approval for a product, category, or registered brand by completing a selling application in Seller Central. An application may include document requests, performance checks, and other qualifications. It's designed to help ensure that customers can shop with confidence in the Amazon store, knowing that products are safe and authentic. How will you know if your product requires an approval? We've built approval checks and applications right into the listing process. To list a product that's already sold in the Amazon store, hover over Inventory in the Seller Central main menu, then click Add a Product. Search for your product by using a product ID or GTIN like a UPC, ISBN, EAN, or JAN, or search using an ASIN or other ID paired with descriptive information like brand or product name. Next, locate the product you want to sell in the search results. If it requires approval, you'll see a Show Limitations link, which you can click to get a summary of listing requirements. Review the requirements, then select a product condition using the drop-down menu. You can click the Apply to Sell button and then the button on the selling application page to begin the approval process. The specific selling application you'll need to complete will depend on the product you're trying to list and the type of approval you need to secure. Let's review a selling application for a category first, then a selling application for a registered brand. On the Selling Application for Category page, start by answering any product-related questions. Then review the list of requirements for the purchase invoice you'll need to upload. Check each box after you verify that your document meets each requirement. The purchase invoice you submit needs to be dated within 180 days and include your name and address, matching the information in your selling account. It also needs to include the name and address of the product's manufacturer or distributor and show a combined purchase of at least 10 units. That means the invoice should show a paid balance for at least 10 units, demonstrating that you own the inventory. If you're omitting the pricing for individual items on your invoice, check the box to confirm. Then check the box acknowledging that we may verify your document by contacting the manufacturer or distributor it identifies. After checking each required box, upload your purchase invoice. Make sure it's a high-resolution PDF file in the correct orientation. Then provide any optional comment that might help us assess your application, along with contact information we can use to ask follow-up questions. Click the Submit button to complete the application. If you need to complete a selling application for a brand enrolled in Amazon Brand Registry, you'll follow a similar process. On the Selling Application for Brand page, start by selecting the document type you want to upload as part of your application. You may upload either a purchase invoice for products from the brand that you received from a manufacturer or distributor, or a letter directly from the brand authorizing you to sell their products. For a purchase invoice, you'll need to submit a document that meets the same requirements we reviewed for a category approval. For an authorization letter, you'll need to submit a document that is dated within 180 days and includes your name and address, matching the information in your selling account. Your letter also needs to be on the brand's letterhead and include the name and address of the brand. Make sure it's a high-resolution PDF file in the correct orientation. After uploading either document, you'll provide contact information plus any optional comments. Then click Submit to complete the application. Note that when submitting a selling application for a brand enrolled in Amazon Brand Registry, you're specifically requesting approval to match offers to the brand's existing product detail pages. This approval doesn't provide you with additional listing privileges to create or edit product detail pages for the brand, or access to brand selling benefits like stores and A+ content. Those additional privileges and benefits are reserved for sellers internal to the brand and authorized third-party resellers. If you'd like more information about requesting additional listing privileges and brand selling benefits, see our Seller University video, Request Access to Brand Selling Benefits. Now that you know how to request an approval for a product that's already sold in the Amazon store, let's review how to request approval for a new product. You'll start the process the same way, double-checking that there's no existing listing for your item. Search for the product using the Product Adding tool. If it doesn't appear in the search results, click the Create a New Listing button. During the listing creation process, you'll find out if your new product requires a category approval when you select a product type. You can search or browse product types and will see a Learn More button with a lock. Click the button to open our help page, Categories and Products that Require Approval. Then find and click the Request Approval link next to the relevant product category. This will bring you to the Selling Application for Category page, which you can complete using the same steps we reviewed earlier. You'll find out if you need to complete a selling application for a registered brand a little later in the listing creation process while entering information for the new product detail page. After entering or selecting the brand's name in the brand name field, you'll receive error 5461. You can use the link in the error message to access the Selling Application for Catalog Authorization page, which lets you request approval to list and sell the item for the brand. As part of the application, you'll provide a letter of authorization from the brand, as well as product information and images to create the new ASIN and product detail page. Note that this is the only scenario in which a seller other than the brand owner or another seller granted listing privileges for the brand can apply to create a new listing for a brand enrolled in Amazon Brand Registry. After completing a selling application for a product, category, or brand, you'll receive confirmation within 24 hours that we're reviewing your approval request. In most cases, that review process is completed within 3 business days. To monitor the status of a selling application, hover over Catalog in the Seller Central main menu and then click View Selling Applications. Once the status of an application is approved, click the List Products button to start adding products to your inventory. This concludes our training on applying to sell a product, category, or brand. Thank you and happy selling in the Amazon store. Welcome to our training, Request Access to Brand Selling Benefits. After a brand enrolls in Amazon Brand Registry, it has greater control over the information that appears on its product detail pages. It also has access to a suite of selling benefits designed to enhance its performance in the Amazon store. Those benefits include stores, A+ content, and sponsored brands campaigns, as well as the brand dashboard and Amazon Brand Analytics. If you're an Amazon seller who has a relationship with a registered brand, you can use one of two processes to request listing privileges and access to the brand's selling benefits. Sellers internal to a registered brand use an automated process in Seller Central, while third-party resellers with authorization from the brand use a manual process. Both these processes provide sellers with the privileges needed to create and update a registered brand's product detail pages. Sellers internal to a brand also receive access to a full suite of selling benefits, while authorized resellers receive a more limited set of selling benefits. Let's review both processes. Before we begin, note that requesting listing privileges and selling benefits access is different than applying to sell a brand's products in the Amazon store. That separate process is sometimes required for sellers unaffiliated with a registered brand when they want to match offers to the brand's product detail pages. If you'd like more information about completing a selling application for a registered brand, search for our training, Apply to Sell a Product, Category, or Brand in Seller University. If you're internal to a brand enrolled in Amazon Brand Registry, you can request listing privileges and selling benefits access with a few quick clicks. Start by opening the Seller Central main menu. Hover over Brands and select All Brand Benefits. Next, click the View Registered Brands button. You'll see a list of the brands you sell in the Amazon store on the Brand Benefit Eligibility page. To request listing privileges and selling benefits access for a brand, click the Identify as the Brand Owner button next to it, then the Submit Request button in the pop-up menu. If you don't have access to the Brand Benefit Eligibility page, you can still request listing privileges and selling benefits access for a brand by contacting seller support instead. After you submit a request as a seller internal to a registered brand, the original seller who enrolled the brand or another approved administrator can review your request in the Amazon Brand Registry portal. If they grant you listing privileges and selling benefits access, you'll receive email confirmation. Then you can navigate to Stores, A+ Content, and Sponsored Brands in Seller Central to start using those tools. Or navigate to the Brand section of the main menu to use tools like the Brand Dashboard, Amazon Brand Analytics, and Virtual Bundles. If you're an authorized third-party reseller for a brand enrolled in Amazon Brand Registry, you can request listing privileges and selling benefits access using a manual process. This will provide you with the same listing privileges enjoyed by sellers internal to a brand, along with access to brand selling benefits outside that brand's section. That includes Stores, A+ Content, and Sponsored Brands, as well as access to upload and manage videos on product detail pages. To request access, start by securing supporting documentation from the brand that verifies your relationship. This could be a distribution agreement or other official correspondence. Then reach out to Amazon Seller Support. When you contact Seller Support, provide the name of the brand and your supporting documentation, and confirm that you're requesting listing privileges and access to selling benefits as an authorized reseller. We'll review your request to verify eligibility and either confirm that you've been granted listing privileges and selling benefits access or ask for more information. This concludes our training on requesting selling benefit access for a brand enrolled in Amazon Brand Registry. Thank you and happy selling in the Amazon store.